Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our third film, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, 1997, in our miniseries, These Old Houses, directed by Clint Eastwood with Kevin Spacey, John Cusack, and the Lady Chablis. The screenplay was written by John Lee Hancock based on the 1994 book by John Berendt. Hancock collapsed several trials from the book into just one for the movie, and many characters were also combined to make fewer, more coherent personalities. Although the movie is about Berendt's experiences, his character was renamed John Kelso, and a love interest was added. Danny Hansford, the murder victim in the book, was renamed Billy Hansen. Joe Odom, who appears in the film, was a lawyer in real life, but later opened a piano bar with Nancy Hiller, the real-life Mandy. The film was made for $30 million, but earned only about $25 million at the box office. Eastwood worked diligently to give the film the true flavor of Savannah, shooting all its exteriors in the city, in many interesting identifiable locations, including Bonaventure Cemetery, Sweet Georgia Brown's, the Mercer Williams House, the Armstrong House, Club One, and Clary's Cafe. Williams' sister Dorothy inherited Mercer House. It was she who agreed to allow filming inside the mansion, but she got cold feet, forcing Eastwood to fly out from LA to convince her to go along with their agreement. However, the house was filled with many priceless antiques, and they couldn't get an insurance company to provide adequate coverage. So they packed up all the furniture and put it in storage and installed replicas everywhere. Although some interior filming was eventually permitted, action shots were done later on the Warner Brothers stage. The Carriage House apartment where John Kelso stays during the trial was actually built for the film on a Burbank soundstage, but his rental apartment from the end of the film is located at 218 West Jones Street. The courthouse scenes were filmed at the U.S. Courthouse on Wright Square, where the flower shop where Mandy worked is also located. The Lady Chablis' home is located at 418 East Liberty Street. Clary's Cafe can be found at 404 Abercrombie Street, and the Married Women's Card Club is located at 126 East Gaston Street, now known as Granite Hall, part of the Savannah College of Art and Design. The debutante ball was filmed at what is now known as the Savannah Inn and Country Club. When Eastwood staged the Christmas party, he sent out formal engraved invitations to many Savannians, including Williams's relatives, who had attended his holiday soirees in the past. Many of these guests praised him for keeping the party so accurate, and Spacey particularly for his demeanor in greeting his guests. The character of Luther Driggs, the man with the flies on his head, was based on a real-life local chemist named Mo Fetzer, who worked for the federal government but was not nearly as eccentric as portrayed in the film. The fly trick actually was only a one-time thing. The plot summary. It's December 1981 in Savannah, Georgia, and a young reporter from Town and Country magazine arrives to do a piece on the famous Christmas parties thrown by a respected local bon vivant and antiques dealer, Jim Williams. Williams lives in a magnificent mid-19th century Italianate mansion known as Mercer House, which was built for the ancestors of Johnny Mercer, the renowned singer-songwriter, and located at 429 Bull Street in Monterey Square, one of the loveliest spots in the city. No sooner do they become acquainted than Williams has a quarrel with a local male prostitute, shoots him to death in the study of his home, and is indicted for murder. The reporter decides to remain in town, not only to write the Christmas party article, but to observe the trial preparations, interview Williams, members of his family, friends, and lawyers, and some of the town's eccentric citizens, with an eye toward writing a book about the trial. Fun things about the film. Williams calls his cat Shelton, a.k.a. Shelton Williams. Many real-life Savannah natives appear in the movie, notably in the party scene, including William's sister and two of his nieces. 3 people play themselves, including the Lady Chablis, Emma Kelly, and Jerry Spencer. Sonny Seiler, one of Williams's lawyers in the book, plays Judge Samuel L. White. Eastwood allowed the Lady Chablis to ad-lib some of her lines. She was housed at the Holiday Inn during filming, to which she protested loudly. When Eastwood was informed about her discontent, he had her moved to more lavish lodgings. The red double-decker tourist bus was an authentic London city bus. John Gandolfini made an uncredited appearance as a cook in the 2 scenes at Clary's Cafe. Sonny Seiler's daughter, Bess Thompson, appears as the pretty girl in the square who wants to have her picture taken with Ugo. Sonny Seiler's office was filmed at the Armstrong House near Forsyth Park, which had once been the offices of Bowen, Williams, and Lacey, LLC. When Bowen died in 1971, he left instructions and funds in his will for his dog Patrick to be walked daily by the firm's porter, William Glover. In the film, we see Glover walking an invisible Patrick in his empty harness after the dog's death in order to continue receiving his payment from Bowen's estate. Candler Hospital is misspelled Chandler throughout the film. The soundtrack is filled with Johnny Mercer's songs, Skylark, sung by K.D. Lang, Fools Rush In, sung by Rosemary Clooney, That Old Black Magic, sung by Kevin Spacey himself, Come Rain or Come Shine, sung by Allison Eastwood, Accentuate the Positive, sung by Clint Eastwood, and I Want to Be Around, sung by Tony Bennett. The Bird Girl bronze sculpture was made in 1936 by Sylvia Shaw Judson at her family's summer home in Lake Forest, Illinois. It became famous in 1984 when it appeared on the cover of Barrett's book. It was commissioned for a Massachusetts family, and only 4 statues were made from the original plaster cast. The Savannah one went to a local family who named it Little Wendy and erected it on their plot in Bonaventure Cemetery. The statue went unnoticed until 1993, when Random House hired the photographer to photograph her for the cover of Barron's book. When the book was published, the Bird Girl drew so many tourists to the gravesite that the family's privacy was compromised, and they donated her to the Telfair Museum in Savannah, where she is on permanent display. Lady Chablis did her own hair and makeup, wore her own clothes, and did all the beading on her evening dress for the debutante ball. Things to look for. Pictures of Mercer House, both inside and out. Pictures of Ugo IV, the English bulldog, who is the University of Georgia mascot, on the walls of Sonny Seiler's law office. The scene with the Savannah ladies arriving at the Married Women's Card Club. The Confederate battle flag in the corner of the courtroom. At the Alpha Phi debutante ball, all the Debs and their guests are African American. Only the musicians are white. Sonny Seiler's daughter getting her picture taken with Ugo the Bulldog. James Gandolfini as a cook at Clary's Cafe. Listen for K.D. Lang's recording of Johnny Mercer's Skylark over the shot of the Bird Girl statue as the credits roll at the end of the film, and for all the other Johnny Mercer songs. Watch for Patrick the Phantom Dog on his daily invisible walk with Mr. Glover. Watch for all the interesting Savannah locations shown in the film. Check out the Bird Girl statue. Her hands are shown with the thumbs reversed 180 degrees. Eyeball the Lady Chablis' clothes, hair, and makeup, particularly the elaborate ball gown she wears for the debutante ball. Listen for Kelso's goof when he informs Williams that he's having trouble getting the locals to talk to him. He addresses Williams as Kevin. This is Spacey's given name. Look for the eccentric guy with the fly antennae on his head. The Candler Hospital signs, all misspelled as Chandler. Now it's time to view Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Sit back, settle in, and remember, it may take a few minutes for the film to roll. Enjoy.